Get up. Are you behind schedule once more? We all wish we didn't have to deal with this morning struggle sometimes. However, what if you never went to bed? Imagine a scenario in which you sorted out some way to keep yourself conscious for eternity. How long could this forever without sleep last? Is it possible to be productive without getting enough sleep each night? When would your friends begin to advise you to rest? And exactly what would occur to your body? How frequently have you required an additional few hours to complete a project, prepare for a date, or take advantage of your day off? You would have all day to do everything you never had time for if you eliminated sleep from your daily routine. What are you willing to risk? An American student set a new record in 1964 for not using any stimulants to stay awake. 11 days passed without him sleeping. In those days, midterms must have been extremely stressful. However, you can accomplish more, right? Sure. It has been reported that other people go a long time without sleeping. Ty Noik, a man, claimed to have gone 45 years without sleeping, but he also said that his insomnia made him feel like a plant without water. Noik said that he tried sleeping pills and other treatments to get better, but nothing worked. The American Al Herpin, also known as the man who never slept, claimed to have never slept. Herpin also allegedly lived to the age of 94. During his lifetime, he had given contradictory birth dates. Noik, Herpin, and other related individuals may really be an instance of rest state misperception, or individuals who trust themselves to be conscious when they are truly dozing. In the decades since, other reports have been made claiming to beat Randy Gardner, the high school student who lasted 11 days. However, Gardner's record was thoroughly and scientifically documented. Other reports may have been tainted by microsleeps that the person making the attempt did not notice. Nevertheless, you might believe that going without sleep would make your life better because you would have more time to complete tasks. If it meant you wouldn't have to waste any more time lying in bed for no good reason, what good are a few yawns and a little tiredness? Or is there a legitimate explanation for why we sleep? As it turns out, there are numerous benefits to sleeping. The average person sleeps with their eyes closed and snoring for 1/3 of their lives. It seems like a waste of time. However, not for your body. Your body repairs tissues and releases hormones while you sleep, replacing your old cells with new ones. First, let's look at your body. Your body repairs tissues and releases hormones while you sleep, replacing your old cells with new ones. If you worked out that day, getting enough sleep is essential for muscle growth and fat burning. What does it mean if you don't sleep? At first, not a lot. You would be completely fine in just 24 hours. In point of fact, you'd be happier than fine. This is because your brain's mesolimbic pathway is stimulated when you don't sleep. Dopamine would be released through this pathway, making you happy and energetic. But don't let all that happiness fool you, it won't last long. All of your reactions would become more sluggish shortly after the 24-hour mark. Your thoughts would begin to drift away from what you were doing. In the meantime, there is a lot going on in your brain. During various stages of sleep, various types of mental maintenance are carried out. In some stages of sleep, neurons in the cerebral cortex are regenerating, while in others, new memories and synaptic connections are being formed. The amount of time you've been awake since your last nap determines how long you spend in the first stage of the sleep cycle. The brain needs more time to clean up the physical brain space during the first stage of sleep the longer you've been awake. When that is finished, you enter the delightful REM sleep stage. The brain regions involved in learning and memory are stimulated during REM, rapid eye movement, sleep. During REM, everything you learned the day before, including new skills and other abilities, becomes firmly anchored. It has to do with proteins in the brain, which are needed to make new synapses that store memories and skills and make new neurons. Your brain breaks down proteins more slowly and produces more proteins while you sleep than when you are awake. See, what else is there? Your judgment would be affected, your memory would be affected, your decision-making would be slower and less effective, and your hand-eye coordination would decrease significantly. Your emotions would rise, your senses would be harmed, and your ability to concentrate would suffer. You would basically appear drunk. Also, not a good drinker. In point of fact, your cognitive impairment would roughly match that of someone with a blood alcohol level of 0.10%. How disabled is that? Having that much alcohol in your system is against the law in most places, so that should tell you something. Because you haven't gotten enough sleep, your cerebral cortex isn't acting as it should, resulting in this drunk-like behavior. You would appear drunk from the outside. Wait, where did we go? Okay, now consider 2 days without sleep. Your body would begin to shut down at that point. It would stop properly metabolizing glucose, leaving you without energy. You'd start to look very pale, like a medieval character. The bad news would make your eyes red, and then your wrinkles would get even more obvious. You might start to feel dehydrated in your head after a day and a half, and you might lose some motivation. No big deal. You might also begin to operate on autopilot, realizing that you don't really remember what happened for long stretches of time. But hey, whatever, you have a full day to live, so you can afford to zone out for a little bit too, whatever. We can only hope that whatever you were thinking or doing was enjoyable. However, even if it wasn't, you won't remember it, so, yes. No big deal. So, what happens if you don't sleep for 2 days? Your brain would give you a clue at this point, so your body would start shutting down too. It would stop properly metabolizing glucose, leaving you without energy. You'd begin looking extremely pale, like a person from the medieval times. You would begin breaking down your own protein, which is found in your muscles, around the 72-hour mark. After 2 days without sleep, the body begins to shut down for so-called microsleeps as a way to make up for the lost time. These are brief blackouts that last anywhere from a split second to a split minute and are typically followed by a period of confusion. During these brief periods of mental absence, your body is actually sleeping, and most of the time you won't even notice it. After the microsleep is over, you can continue doing whatever you were doing before. These microsleeps are usually harmless but completely out of your control. Naturally, unless you're driving or doing something else that could be risky. At this point, even getting up and walking around could be risky because you might trip or fall. Therefore, avoiding any activity that could harm you if you lose focus is probably a good idea. That's when the real fun starts on day 3. Hallucinations. Your brain would bring all of your dreams and nightmares to life if you didn't get enough REM sleep. Again, while these hallucinations are generally harmless, they could be dangerous if experienced at the wrong time or place.